What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. CHGO Bulls pregame coming up right around the corner. Nuggets and MVP frontrunner Nikola Jokic in town to take on the Bulls for the first time this season. Meanwhile, Brian Windhorst said some stuff on his podcast this morning, aggregating abound. Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine. Plus, we'll look at the Jamal Murray and Zach LaVine matchup, as well as Joker versus Vooch, coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls pregame. Coming to you from our studios here in the West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bam! BAWL Sports. Back in the saddle. Uncle Will, four-time champ. Will_Perdue 32. And Queen of the Controls rocking with us, as always, the one and only Katie Duffy. What's up, Kate?
Hi.
Bulls Nugs. Nugs in town.
Nugs in town.
Just a quick FYI for everybody tuning in on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button. We are pre-taping this an hour before our usual 6:30 tip-off time because Uncle Will's got important things to do. So won't know by the end of this show what the starting lineups are.
You had to.
Yes, he had to do that.
Yeah.
You give us shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, he had to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, Will. Absolutely.
Hope you enjoyed your time off,
Yeah,
by the way.
Oh, that was great. Oh, man.
Hey, you guys don't want to go down that road.
I
Do
ain't scared
not
of
want to
it,
go
Will.
down that. I didn't say you were, but it's just, that wasn't by my choice. If you guys aren't going to bring me in for all 82, I'm going to go play golf.
Fair enough. I hope it was
That
it
is very
enjoyable.
fair.
Was it enjoyable?
Yes, it was.
Good.
Was
Good.
the game good?
No.
No.
Well, it was okay. It wasn't what I had hoped it was going to be with some of the work I'd put in. So, but we'll get there.
You'll get there.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah. Your
It's
body
process.
doesn't know because it was down, south. It's still thinking it's winter time. So that was a winter game for you right there. I think when you hit about June or July, you'll be back to Will Perdue.
Oh, it better be.
But no big deal that we're pre-taping because as far as injury reports go, pretty clean for both squads. Obviously, the Nuggets are without their first-round draft pick, Deron Holmes, who got hurt in Summer League while we were out there, Dave.
Yeah.
A real bummer for them.
Very.
But otherwise, clean injury report. As far as the Bulls go, no change. Torrey Craig's still out with the ankle. Kobe White dealing with the bone bruise in his ankle, and he remains out tonight. I believe I saw Billy's pregame availability. They're optimistic he could join the team at some point on this upcoming 3-game road trip, but probably not at the front end of it. But so Kobe and Torrey still out tonight, but otherwise clean injury report for the Bulls. So you can probably expect starting lineups to remain the same for both squads, unless curveball Pat. I don't know. No, we'll probably see Lonzo
Right down
in
the
there as well as Pat, Vooch, Giddy, and Zach.
Fastball.
So just to get this out of the way, and we can probably circle back to it on our off-day pod tomorrow, Dave. I'm sure we will because it is trade talk season.
Yeah.
But just to address it, because people in the comments who are showing up to watch pregame are probably like, what do y'all think about Bradley Beal?
Yeah.
Let's just address this now. If you would, Katie, this was said by Brian Windhorst on his podcast, The Hoop Collective, that dropped earlier this morning. Quote, we're dancing around this because I've been burned on aggregation, but the bottom line is the Bulls and Suns have talked on the concept of Bradley Beal ending up in Chicago. It's been discussed. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's close or whatever. And obviously Beal has a no-trade clause. But Bontemps, referring to Tim Bontemps, his co-host, I just can't believe that Chicago would do that deal. So maybe it's never going to happen. But it's been discussed, end quote. A lot of NBA media aggregators on Twitter had a field day with that one.
Man, they went crazy.
As they do.
Bulls are going to get Bradley Beal.
It was by noon today. It was like, oh, Bulls are trading for Beal. Like, come on,
Breaking
people.
news.
Can we not? Can we not? But, I mean, all I will say about this is that do not jump to conclusions. Do not jump to panic. So many teams have to get involved in this hypothetical Jimmy, Phoenix, Zach to the Bucks. Bulls taking in Beal trade to make it work, to make it happen. And as of right now, all legitimate reporting is that it's nowhere close to happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't mind that it's being discussed. I don't mind that it's being talked about. That's what you're supposed to do. That's your job. You listen to everything. Hey, what do you want to do? Oh, I don't like that. Don't call me anymore. Hey, what is this? Okay, call me later. Maybe we could discuss something. I'm cool with them being in the discussion because this is also the biggest blockbuster trade that looks like it's going to happen this season. And so for the Bulls to even be in a discussion about it, I'm comfortable with that. I'm cool. They cannot do this trade. This is not the trade to do. I don't feel like they're going to do this trade at all, but I'm okay with them just having the conversation about Bradley Beal. And also, I don't think Bradley Beal wants to come here to Chicago either and play. Remember, he has a no-trade clause. So, yeah, all those things considered, it's just talk, and that's fine. Let it be talk. Keep talking, and then pick up one of your other 8 phones on your table.
What do you make of it, Will?
Well, I think when it comes to the Bulls in this particular trade, the team that holds the fewest cards is the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a deal that they want to get done.
Yes,
right.
More than anything.
So you then put yourself in a position of, well, just how badly do you want to get this done if you're the Phoenix Suns? Because if you do, we have a list of demands that need to be met on our end. Now, do I think that it's in the best interest of the Bulls' future to make this trade? Absolutely not. But if Phoenix gets desperate and starts slapping draft pick after draft pick after draft pick, and all of a sudden now the Chicago Bulls could become the Oklahoma City Thunder, then you have to listen.
Sure.
But the only question you have to ask yourself is that what is the vision? What is the plan? Okay, if this happens, where does that fit amongst what it is you're attempting to do to try to turn things around for the Bulls? And that's what we don't know because, you know, they don't reveal things over there. It's the CIA.
It is. They're quiet about things over there.
And to a certain extent, you have to be.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to launch a surprise attack. But, you know, I think that
Battleship.
The one area where I want to give the Bulls credit is acknowledging that something needs to be done.
Yay. That
Okay?
part, Will. Wonderful.
Now that you've acknowledged it, something needs to be done. The question is, can you get something done before the trade deadline, or do you have to wait to the offseason in 25?
I mean, sure, golf clap.
Yeah.
But they also acknowledged that something needs to be done when AK spoke out after their 5-14 start last season and said, "We see what you all see."
Damn, he did say that.
So,
you
know, I'm not going to throw a parade because we're hearing that AK is, you know, active in trade talks leading up to this trade deadline because he knows they need to keep making more moves. They need to keep making more moves because he built himself into a corner that he has been stuck in and afraid to try to get out of for the better part of the last 2 years. 2 of them things. So,
well, this is what happens when you paint yourself in a corner.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
The other element of this that so many of the national NBA talking heads and then people talking about it on Twitter are just blindly ignoring that I think is hilarious is that Bradley Beal is making over 50 mil this year to Zach LaVine's 43. The Bulls are not going to go into the luxury tax to complete this trade. Not happening. We all know how Jerry and co operate. So maybe there's a way they could finagle themselves back under it with other parts of this, but there's a pretty big gap there.
Yeah. But again, this is why I'm happy they actually are taking the call and listening because you know how they're not going to do. But let me hear your pitch. That's like, I'm cool with hearing what pitch you have because, again, this is the biggest trade going. So I want to hear where you're at, and then you can circle back and talk to me about something else. You already know because you're right, Matt. This is why I'm like, you're not doing this trade. They are not going into the tag for Bradley Beal. They're not going to do that. But you have to listen. You have to just say, okay, what do you want to give up? What do you think you want to do? How do you see this going? I'm cool with them listening. I'm not cool with them actually moving on it. Pick up another phone is how I feel.
And that's the thing about, like, well, okay, maybe you'd be willing to take on Beal's dead money, again, if he's willing to waive his no-trade clause, because the Bulls aren't really going to be looking to be playoff bound competitive
Right.
at the end of this season or probably either next season. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news for those who are delusional. But so if you can throw us some first round draft capital, then we'll take him off your hands.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to get Zach a fresh start. Let's just do this to do this because we know the trade they made with Utah, the Suns now have 3 picks that they can trade. And they are first round picks.
They are.
But as our guy Goat laid out on Twitter earlier today, in all of these teams talking about this deal, Miami's going to want picks for Jimmy.
That's true.
Other teams that are being used to facilitate are going to want picks, and the Bulls are going to want picks. There's only so many picks to go around, and most of the picks we're talking about, the ones that the Suns just acquired, are all via other teams near the top of the standings. So you're talking about getting, first-round picks, but first-round picks somewhere in the 20s, even the late 20s. As we finally traded Zach, and this is what we get out of it. I don't know. At the same time, we know that AK was like, picks? We don't need no stinking picks. Just give me Josh Giddey.
Yeah. And that's the other part.
For an asset that was, at the time more valuable than a lot of people thought Zach LaVine is or was.
Yeah. And that kind of where my mind was at when I heard this also. Because I'm like, he would do that where he would just get Bradley Beal and be like, got him. And that's it. You know what I mean? And that would be comfortable because I got a guy. I have nothing else to lean on when I say that stuff because I've only seen him do that. I don't really know them to make trades, or do anything like that. That's what it's shown me. The only one I saw you make, you didn't want any picks for it or you didn't get any picks for it. And now we're in another kind of situation with that. But, yeah, man, like I don't think he can go into this one and just walk away with a player. Not with an asset like Zach LaVine, but again, I sat and said the same thing about Alex Caruso. So I don't know. And that's the fear. There's a lot of worry and concern on our side, about how what the Bulls will walk away with in this situation. Because they could walk away with something nice, or they could just walk away. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this hypothetical question.
I love those, Will.
Would you do a deal with Milwaukee and take on Middleton's contract? Because I think his option next year is a player option, and considering the issues he's had with his health, you can guarantee he's picking up that option.
Yeah.
But is that not better than what's left on Zach's contract?
That better?
Well, I mean, yes, he's got Middleton has an option for next season at $34 million.
Right.
So Zach he is under contract next season.
But he's under contract
more
for how many
expensive,
more seasons?
and then has a player option the year following in 26-27.
So that's 2 years.
Yes. So Middleton expires 1 year before Zach, assuming both pick up their options. Because Middleton's is this summer and Zach's is next summer.
Okay.
Right. But so you would save yourself a year of money and put yourself in the race. Now, here's the other thing that in regards to being in the same ballpark as, what you're talking about, making trades.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, the Bulls have gone 2-8 in their last 10.
Woo!
And still sit in the 10th spot.
Yep.
So, Matt, you and I were talking. That puts them where does that put them 7th?
In what?
7th worst record?
Ninth.
Ninth.
They're
Okay.
still ninth.
Now,
If
the problem
Philly leapfrogs
is,
them, they will go to the 8th worst record. And
but the
8th in
problem
lottery.
with that is that, as you and I discussed earlier today, anywhere from 7 to 10, they can get the 11th pick when they put the envelopes in the hopper.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem. Yes.
If, as my understanding is they've acknowledged that they would like to keep the pick for this year, but depending on who you ask, there are general managers that like next year's draft just as the 26th draft just as much as the 25 draft.
It's
If
true.
not more, yeah.
So if the Bulls happen to lose the pick this year, then they get it next year, or vice versa. So there's still a lot to be decided, but then that just means another year of patience.
Yeah.
I also think I mean, if you're being realistic here, this is at least how I feel. You have to keep your pick this draft and next year's draft.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're at such a dearth of talent right now, like franchise building talent.
Excuse me?
Dirt, you heard him. Let him
Dearth of
cook.
talent.
Let that man cook it up.
Amazing word.
That
Let him cook
you
Dearth?
need it. Yeah, you need a valuable player to come out of picks in the first round of this year's draft and next year's draft. If you're the Bulls front office, you have to.
You have to, man. You have to. There's nothing on the horizon on your roster that leads you to say something different.
And I've heard that from before from Bulls fans or whoever. Well, let's just give the pick to San Antonio to get it over with, and then we'll get our pick in next. No,
no.
You can't afford to lose. Whether it's this year or next year, you can't afford to lose
So
that.
you're
lottery
saying
pick.
that's not debatable?
No,
I don't think so.
If I'm running things, no.
Yeah. Keeping all the picks, bro. You need all the help. All of it.
Because then you become who?
The Bulls.
Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Well, who kept all the picks?
Okay, see.
They went through some tough times.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now they have a championship caliber team and the MVP.
Yeah.
True. Speaking of MVP, we can now, I guess, put a pin in that and come back to it tomorrow. And pivot to talking about what we have on deck tonight, which is Bulls Nuggets. And along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the other front runner for MVP this season, going for his fourth NBA regular season MVP. And it is the current man in the mill of the NBA, just like our guy, Mr. Perdue here used to be. Nikola Jokic.
That's dumb.
Who, if you take a look at his season stats, Katie, my goodness, nearly averaging a 30-point triple-double, which his new teammate Russell Westbrook actually did accomplish in that MVP season of his back when he was with the Thunder. But I mean, the shooting splits it's a career high behind the arc, nearly shooting 50% from three on over 4 attempts per game, and the 13 boards to 10 dimes. I mean, nearly 2 steals per game. This is just crazy stuff the Joker's doing.
Wait a minute, that's the season?
That's his season
I
numbers.
for real thought that when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's because he's had like 4 or 5 straight games of triple doubles.
No, that's
probably what he's shooting in that span.
That's a recent stretch.
That's
Those are
his season
numbers.
That's stupid. That's dumb. Come on, man. That's not fair. Oh, God, I love it.
So
that's amazing. Oh, my God. That's incredible.
I mean, 0.1 points per game shy right now, and he'll probably drop 30-plus tonight and get it back up there of averaging a triple-double and a 30-point triple-double at that. Yeah, last season, for reference, Joker had 20 triple-double games. 25 triple-double games in 79 games played last season. He's played 39 games so far this season and is already at 20 triple-doubles.
That's dumb, Will Perdue. That's dumb. Like, what do you do?
Did you ever think you would see? I mean, you saw some dominant big men in your day. You faced off against and played with at times the likes of whether it be Shaq, David Robinson, Olajuwon.
Mm-hmm.
How do you compare the dominant bigs of your era to what we're seeing from Joker right now?
That's a great question.
Well, it's just, number one, it's a different era, and the bigs are different.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, Joker shoots threes, but he's not really a three-point shooter.
Right.
But also, offenses are different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even talking about, the focus on three-pointers. I'm talking about where Joker has the ball. They run the offense through him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a point center. And those guys just didn't exist when I played.
Right. Well, none of them were averaging 10 assists a game.
We didn't know if they existed because that's just not how the game was played.
They were not allowed.
Okay. Nope. First of all, I hope that Joker acknowledges what Dirk Nowitzki did for the game for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. But I just think that Dirk was the one that started to change the game for the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what he could do and how talented he really was.
Okay.
I mean, I can honestly say he had, like, the year that they were in the finals against Miami.
Yeah.
I got to go see some of his individual workouts to where, you would have the workout, the off day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out that Dirk was going back into the practice facility later at night with his coach. And I asked, and they let me come in and watch, and it's just, some of the stuff they did was wild. I mean, it was just like space age basketball stuff, right? But everything was correlated to something.
Yeah.
You did A because it would create B.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we all talked about how we had never seen anybody like him, it's because of the approach. You had never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
You know, I can honestly say I thought I had some really good big man coaches in Ed Martin when I was at Vanderbilt, who used to be, was Truck Robinson's coach at TSU, right? And just some of the wacky stuff he had me doing. But it was about eye-hand coordination. It was about footwork. And it wasn't just, basketball stuff. It was just, there were correlations. It just would blow your mind. But even when I was watching Dirk, I was just like, I'm kind of like when you start talking to a dog and it's like, and they're doing all these drills. And I literally had to take note and then would talk to, and I forget his name, Dirk's guy.
Mm-hmm.
So why, okay, all right, the next one, why? And then everything he had, it was like scientific. You were like, you felt bad because you were asking why.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like it was so far out there. But it's just Dirk was the big man, in my opinion, that changed the game. It was also Dirk's coach who changed the game and started going with analytics and Mark Cuban. But the Joker is just, people are going to start laughing, but has there ever been somebody that's been so unathletic, been such a good great basketball player?
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird was more athletic than you think.
Yeah, but he was as close to it as I could.
But like the guys you were talking about, as big as Shaq was, he was an unbelievable athlete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Olajuwon, unbelievable athlete.
Yeah. David Robinson.
David Robinson, unbelievable. But it was just, sometimes when you watch Joker run and he plays, you're like, this dude's got 2 left feet.
Yeah.
But just the things that he does are just, it's really hard to define.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no really limitations on that guy. There's no comparisons. He's like 4 different guys in one.
Right.
But that's why, as Matt said, we're taping the show, because I asked these guys if they could tape the show because I want to go to the game and watch him play.
Flex.
I'm happy.
So do I.
Flex.
And that, that's also.
But then you'd have to go into the United Center.
You did set yourself up for that. It was right there.
I want to go. I want to go watch him play in Denver. What's up, DMVR crew? But speaking of going and watching Joker play, I think Bulls fans who are heading
came up
tonight
with a great idea.
Are
what are those things where you trade guys? They can send us one of theirs, and we'll send Peck for a week.
If Peck go, I go. So you gonna have
Bulls fans, crew. You would love Mahrez and Harrison
you would.
Dev and all those guys. They're great guys.
They
Gale,
would.
Brendan.
They'll hold it down for you, Will.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with that.
Why is that?
When you do something like that, because the people might like them better than they like you.
That's
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I am
I'm concerned.
aware that several Bulls fans do not care for me at all. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Yeah, but when Denver goes to send you back, and then
but you're not factoring in Denver might love us too.
Oh, Denver.
They might.
That's my concern. I don't think you guys are coming back. You get to watch some winning basketball out there.
I tell them how envious I am with them all the time.
Well, to be fair, they already do kind of love us out there because when we went out there, so it's already set up.
The one thing Dave is not is humble.
Hey, man. Just telling you the truth.
Why should he be?
Oh, I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm a very humble human.
If you forgot, last season, Nuggets were in town to play the Bulls the one time a year that Bulls fans can go to the UC to watch Joker and this Nuggets team.
Mm-hmm.
Joker picked up a quick second technical towards the end of the first half and got ejected.
He did.
And if I were a paying Bulls fan tonight and that happened, I would be pissed. But also, if I'm Joker, I probably remember that.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm going to come in there and give it to them tonight.
All right, I'm going to spread false rumors.
Come on with it.
All right, but the fact is that the Joker and Vooch are good friends.
They are.
And they went to dinner last night.
They do.
So there is a possibility that Vooch picked up the tab on behalf of Joker getting kicked out of the game.
Well, I saw a tweet from
did pick up the tab.
Casey Johnson saying that they have this tradition because they go way back. They're good friends. Whoever is in town playing the home game that next night, or if they go out that late night for a late night dinner, the game of whoever's hosting pays the tab.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Bulls are out in Denver, Joker will pay, but the Nuggets were here in town, so Vooch picked up the tab last night. That's what Casey reported.
This is true.
I think it's a good system.
All right, so let's do it over/under then.
Okay.
Not on who will win the game or who finishes with the better stats, but who gets to 10 points quicker.
Ooh. You know what?
More inclined to say Vooch.
I'm more inclined to say Vooch because the last few times Joker's played the Bulls, he just picks their defense apart, setting up his teammates.
He does.
Before he actually looks to get his own scoring in.
Yeah.
I think he only had 4 points in the most of the first half minutes he played before getting ejected last season when he was in town.
I still remember when
he had 9 assists.
Still remember when he had 14, 14, and 14.
Yeah.
He puts up those kind of stats. He's bored playing the Bulls.
I'll say Vooch gets to 10 before Joker does. But if one of them puts up a triple-double tonight, I'm guessing it's Joker.
That's safe assumption right there. So.
But, I think
Vooch
will probably
Mr.
get up
Obvious.
to the performance too.
Way to go out on the limb.
I know, right?
That's why I'm in Denver.
Hopefully you'll see both of them play well because in that game the Joker got ejected from, I went back and checked, Vooch put up 26, 16, and 5 in that game.
Vooch has put up some really good numbers against,
Yes.
yearly.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to say who's won more games, but I think from a statistics standpoint, Vooch's numbers are actually better than Joker's.
Real quick before we get out of here, other key matchup tonight, obviously, two names that get thrown into the same tier of players a lot of times in NBA conversations, that's being the Bulls, Zach LaVine, and Jamal Murray's of the Nuggets. If you will, Katie, just to look at their numbers so far this season, Zach doing a bit more of the scoring, both respectable field goal percentage-wise. Jamal's got a bit of an edge there in the playmaking and assists per game. But those numbers for Jamal are modest. If you look at what he's done month by month, he is picking his game up.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick numbers for you. Jamal Murray's offensive rating by month starting from October and moving to January, 109, 112, 115, 118. His true shooting percentage by month starting in October going to now, 501, 533, 582, 586. So Jamal is certainly finding his stride.
Yeah, and he started really slow, and that had to deal with the injury and things like that. But when that dude's going, man, he's one of the best, honestly, in the league. When he's got it going, he will drop 50 on you. We've seen it happen in the playoffs before. He is that good of a player. I'm happy that he gets that because he's a guy that you kind of root for. You want him to, be at his best. So Zach's going to have his hands full with a guy like Jamal Murray, who Denver has kind of found their stride, and they're playing so well together. They figured out Russell Westbrook and what to do with him. Michael Porter Jr. is starting to score now. Aaron Gordon is just who he is.
He came back from a couple of long absences with injuries, but has been now playing active in 7 of their last 8. Also coming off the bench, which is interesting.
Yes,
Gordon's
he has.
Been a long-time starter. So that's a little bit of a different
Christian Braun has just been awesome for them too. So I think Murray is going to have a good game against the Bulls because he usually does.
Quick question. Well, let me get back to this. This is a game, if I'm Zach LaVine, that I circle on my calendar. Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, guys. Matt and I called Matt today about guys that I thought were in the same tier that when we were talking about players, okay, Jamal Murray, Zach LaVine, Devin Booker, but, okay, where does Zach stand in the hierarchy of guys at that level? A Bradley Beal, who now unfortunately is dealing with just injury after injury after injury. So you kind of forget about him. But this is where, unfortunately for Zach, this is where winning carries a lot of weight. Because as you just threw those numbers up there, you're like, man, they weren't necessarily impressive.
No, Zach's having a much better statistical season than Jamal Murray so far.
But our perception of Jamal Murray is that he's so much better than Zach.
Got a chip.
But it's not even it is the chip, but it's how he played during that particular season. The things that he said during those interviews that were so enlightening and in depth. And you would thought that guy, I remember the year they made that run and the interviews that he did, you had thought that guy had been to the Holy Land and back.
Right. Yeah.
He had seen the light because he changed. And he understood the sacrifices that needed to be made for him to do two things, play better and help his team win a championship. And he accomplished both of those. And from that day forward, when they won that championship, the perception of him changed.
Yeah.
And that's where, this is why I say this. This is why I think it's better for Zach to be somewhere else than here in Chicago.
Correct.
Because Zach deserves that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay?
Speak it.
And I think because of the fact that the Bulls have admitted that they're reshaping, not rebuilding, reshaping. So it's going to be a while.
Mm-hmm.
When I say a while, 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Then guys of Zach's ilk at that point now with in 3 years from now, Zach will be in the league. How long?
I think this
This
is
is
this
10?
year 9 or 10 already
it's
for
around.
Zach?
I was thinking it was going to be 12 or 13, 14.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the decline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that I want that to be the case, but he
Right.
just the one thing we talked about is there's only one person out there that's undefeated.
Father time, baby.
That's right.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Should be a fun one. Zach and Jamal Murray, Vooch going up against Joker. I can't wait to watch this one.
Yeah.
We will be right back here for a live postgame following the conclusion of Bulls and Nuggets. In the meantime, hit that like button on your way out if you haven't done it yet. Make sure you also subscribe to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel. And, of course, follow our guy, Willie Gottlieb, who is at the UC reporting on tonight's game. Will_Gottlieb. And, of course, also read his stuff whenever you can, allchgo.com. For Katie, four-time champ Uncle Will, Big Dave, Peck saying thanks for watching pregame. Let's watch some hoops, y'all. Let's watch some hoops. Let's go.
Hey, Denver. Peace.
Trade?
We all silly like the mayor.